Okay, so here is the thesis of the video. Classic Sonic should be benched for a while. You see, for you people, Sonic is a character with two defined gameplay styles in both 2D, 3D, and two different characters revolving around Sonic and Classic Sonic. I don't really ever see it that way. What I see it as is the simple thing of Classic Sonic died when he became modern Sonic, but classic Sonic's spirit came back in Sonic Generations. While the gimmick was doing well, they had a reason to focus on that classic Sonic because at the end of the day, it is still technically a Sonic, even if it isn't the Sonic that we're supposed to be following. When classic Sonic stops doing well, it's just a gimmick introduced in Generations, and that's how you view it, so they sit it on the bench. They sit it on the bench and they leave it there for a while. Sonic is a nostalgic franchise for many, and when this nostalgia wears off, they might as well bench the character. That's pretty much how it works. That's how it's been working for a while, because we went through a classic Sonic drought and modern Sonic took over the games that he appeared in for a while, and then when it started to flounder again, they put it on the bench again and made it sit on the sidelines for a while. And I think they should probably sit it on the sidelines for at least 5 years maybe, and then come back really strong with it, and if it does well, keep on the grind, and then once it flounders again, put it back. I don't care at all about classic Sonic or the characters that only appear in classic games. I think characters like Trip are cool, I think characters like Mighty and Ray are cool, but they don't talk, they don't feel like characters to me, because for me to be attached to a character, that character has to speak. That's just like a number one priority. It needs to speak if I'm ever going to connect with it. But like, those classic characters don't do that. I just can't connect to those characters because they don't speak, they don't talk, they don't have value to me other than the things that they do. They can be cool and they can have character that they display through their actions, but like, I love hearing a character talk and I just can't connect to that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other people feel the same way, even if they can't express it the same way I'm expressing it here. Speaking of the lore, the characters, and all that stuff, okay? Speaking of, a thing that also makes me not want the classic style games is due to their placement in the lore and the characters that can appear. Silver, Blaze, and Shadow cannot appear in these classic games, and that frustrates me to no end, as the Sonic series wants to become more lore-centric, more lore-accurate, and also they want to fucking leave out characters from classic games appearing in modern games for reasons, I guess. Look, I understand that lore is like sensitive, but we need to just kick all of that like classic Sonic shit out of the lore and make it fucking modern Sonic lore and classic Sonic lore, because I think that would be way better. Not only would you be able to rewrite like Sonic and Shadow's first appearance in classic games, you would also be able to have like Silver, Blaze, and Cream appear in the classic games too, and it would be way better that way. There is not a single reason why you would want classic and modern Sonic to have the same lore, except for you want it to feel like classic Sonic matters, when he really doesn't matter to the story that much, as Sonic is a unchanging character, and most of the characters in the classic era didn't change very much until they got into the modern games, and then that's where their character development really started. The classic era doesn't really affect the modern games. The modern games affect the classic era very sincerely. And the only time that the classic games affect the modern games is when it comes to the characters that can appear. And there's no canonical like reason why they shouldn't be able to appear in the fucking games. Like Bark, Being, Fang, Trip, Mighty, Ray. All those characters could appear in modern games unless they're dead. And if they made like a story about those 6 characters dying or some shit, I would be like very ecstatic to see where that goes until I realized that it was in a classic Sonic game, because they don't appear in any of the modern Sonic centric games at all. Literally at all. Now you could say that they are like on different parts of the world, but like during Sonic Unleashed, none of the characters appeared, and that's a plot hole, and I would probably just remake Sonic Unleashed to make all those characters appear, because holy shit, Sonic like literally moving across the planet and not seeing any of his fellow friends or anybody that he dislikes who is like also a fucking furry. Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. It really doesn't. The best parts of the lore in Sonic comes from the 3D era. From Project Shadow to the fucking Chaos Saga from Sonic Adventure 1. You have these really cool things. And while you can say, hey, most of those ideas are technically introduced in Sonic 3 or Sonic 2, you can't say that the expansions from the lore even have any essence or any value in the classic games, as Chaos Tikal, Shadow, Gerald, and Maria do not have any presence at all in the classic games. And while you can say like, oh, Gerald Robotnik saw the mural, there's no like actual proof that he saw the mural in either the classic renditions of the games or in the new renditions of the games. And in fact, I believe in the new book, the book that was in the game and the book that's actually being created, it says that he didn't actually discover any of those things. All he did was read them off of a book somewhere. So he didn't even actually technically find those things. He technically got it from a secondhand source and decided to base a hedgehog off of it, which isn't canonical. Technically, it's not canonical. There's no proof, but you can see how people come to that conclusion if you're intelligent in any way whatsoever. Now, I'm not trying to say you're stupid for not seeing it, but like most intelligent people can see where I'm coming from when I say that. Okay, yeah, so basically most of the coolest parts of the lore are locked off, and you can't really introduce those. And then new lore that you introduce from like fucking Frontiers onward, like why isn't Trip in the new games? The lore for Trip is awesome. What the fuck is that black dragon? That black dragon is cool as shit. Is it just a fucking regular fucking Sonic character affected by negative Chaos Emerald energy? And if so, you could have expanded on that and brought like that character into a newer game and went like, oh, okay, so the negative Chaos energy affects more than just perfect chaos. And yeah, while that is implied, I don't think there are many instances where the negative Chaos Emerald energy actually affects things in a negative way. For real. Okay, I don't think you see that in the main series. You'll see it in Sonic X with Dark Sonic, where the negative Chaos Emerald energy affects him. But like other than that, you don't really get the sense that the negative Chaos Emerald energy can be fucking absorbed by anything other than like maybe the Coco and maybe the Chow. Okay, you don't get that essence or that value from it. Classic Sonic should not have a CGI fucking character model. Okay, past generations, they should have kept him in his 2D pixelated state, because that's what the people who got all their nostalgia, okay, from the classic games remember and they love. They love the pixelated art style. I hate Classic Sonic. I don't like Classic Sonic at all, mostly due to the form of storytelling, and even though I didn't understand Shadow Generation's story the entire time I was playing it, I do understand it now, and it's way better than I thought it was at first glance. But also, there is a value here to keeping Classic Sonic pixelated and adding new gimmicks and new moves and new stuff like that to it, instead of keeping it in this constant state where it's basically just classic modern Sonic's little brother. It's modern Sonic's little brother that nobody asked for, because they want modern Sonic and classic Sonic to be distinct from each other. People will say this from the bottom of their heart. that they do not want the boost in classic Sonic games, just like I don't want the fucking spin dash in modern Sonic games. I just don't want it, right? If it's like an alternate character and an alternate skin or something, and they don't have to fucking use it, that's fine. I'm fine with that. They're fine with that. But like making it the main gameplay style, people get tired of it. All right. If you're an adventure fan, okay, do whatever you want. I'm not gonna fight you on this. But like being a classic or a modern Sonic fans, there's a very, very stark difference between the gameplay styles. Like, modern Sonic isn't based on momentum, it's based on raw reaction time and speed, and that's where Shadow Generations failed a little bit, but like, it's based on momentum and platforming in the classic Sonic games, and I like that stark contrast, that stark difference, you know? It's very much a whimsical time to be alive for a Sonic fan, if you catching my drift, okay?